So, having done these speeches probably quite a few times, I have something different a little bit today, I think. My guide to dealing with Mariana Maldonado. Number 1, you'll lose her at write an essay, short answer, explain. Because only the most perfunctory or minimal answer will do. Miss, you already know the answer, so why should I have to write it? Rule number 2, DNE, do not engage. Do not engage because, well, while debate is good, you will find yourself in a low-key battle of wills. Don't do it. Number 3, impress her by means of debunking what she thinks she already knows. Don't try to teach her something new. And number 4, in dealing with Mariana, just don't deal. This young woman is a triple threat: talented, educated, and articulate. The educated part comes by way of extensive reading, though that has fallen to the wayside. Sorry, not to roast. I mean, her mind is not a sieve. She's a sponge, and she's a weapon. When she wants to be, she will discuss anything from something metaphysical to something really profound and sincere. Besides, with Mariana, she dives in, even if she hasn't a safety. Exhibit A. Class, let's discuss the first question. Mariana, what are your thoughts? She's drawing. Because while she heard you, she wasn't tempted enough to actually engage. But she's quick on the uptake. So while you may take the time to get irritated, or you might want to reprimand her, she actually will have already answered your question. Because she scanned it, and she's going to answer with some highbrow vocabulary, or she'll turn it into a question posed to you for you to answer. This has never fooled me. The 4th tip I gave you in this guide, you just don't deal. You actually talk to Mariana. You talk to her on her own time when she's not drawing. And when you debate with her and communicate with her without condescension, with sincerity, no pretense. Then you've aced it. You've aced my guide. And you'll find that you'll get the layers. Some say teachers themselves are the worst students. You don't teach a teacher. Yet, students disprove this theory every day, quietly, defiantly. Because some students, they're mentors, and they teach also. Mariana is one of them. She teaches, she shows independence, and she creates. So I will introduce you to Mariana, someone with whom you just don't deal.
Don't worry, my speech is right here. It's not that one. That was a blank piece of paper. I had to grab your attention somehow. That did not fly very far, did it? To be honest, I make terrible paper airplanes. I think everyone learned how to make a more efficient design and model in like 5th grade, and I just never got the memo, but I still enjoy making them. I have to awkwardly stretch from my desk to grab it again, but it doesn't stop me from throwing it nonstop at my friends until I finally hit them in the head. Why am I talking about paper airplanes? Well, that same mentality applies to most things in my life. Doing something because you enjoy it, even if you're not good at it. The first half is obvious, but we tend to ignore the second half a lot. We don't see the point in continuing something if we're not good enough or if someone is better at it than us. Why do something you're bad at in the first place, right? Somehow, acknowledging we're not good at something automatically means we shouldn't pursue it in any way. Oh, I can't draw, I'm a terrible artist, is equal to, I'm gonna stop drawing forever. Now, I'm not referring to things that we don't want to do or stuff that we have to do. For instance, when I say I'm terrible at science, it doesn't mean I'm gonna stop doing it. It implies I have to do it, even if I don't want to. Or maybe the I'm a terrible artist person just doesn't wanna draw, so why should they? If it's not an obligation and you don't enjoy it, there's no need for you to do it anyway. The point I'm making specifically is, I enjoy it, but I'm bad at it, so what's the point? For a career, it might be good thinking, but not for our hobbies and free time. Do it anyway. It's okay to be bad at stuff. There's nothing wrong with admitting it. We all have things we're bad at. Me, I'm currently lamentable at reading in Spanish, soccer, and paper airplanes, among other things. Another thing I used to be really terrible at, drawing. If you think I'm being humble or something, yeah, it was that bad. This was from maybe 5 years ago. Clearly a masterpiece. The thing about drawing is that unlike most of the things that I was bad at, I actually cared about it. So I didn't let it keep me from drawing nonstop. After all, every class is art class if you're bored enough. But let's come back to paper airplanes, which I'm still bad at today, but continue to make. Everyone has their own paper airplane in life, the one thing they really enjoy and just don't really improve at as quickly as others. Which brings me back to why we stop ourselves from enjoying things we're not good at. It's not like the two of them are directly connected either. Look at any 5-year-old's drawing of 2 stickmen and they'll tell you that they love drawing. Their skill level or talent doesn't define their interests. I think it's something that we should all take to heart. I think we stop ourselves because we link our self-worth to our enjoyment. Let's take the paper airplane example one last time and say you love making them, and eventually you realize you're terrible at paper airplane engineering. That can take a hit on your self-esteem, and stuff that makes us self-conscious isn't stuff we tend to keep enjoying. That's the difference between us and the 5-year-old. They don't doubt whether they're good enough. So what do we do then? How do we stop ourselves from making this connection and push through? Well, it's easier said than done, since it's not a one-day fix, but there are a few things we can all do to start. If anyone, even yourself, tries to say you're bad at something, just say, yeah, maybe. And if I am, who cares? At the end of the day, the same way we're all bad at some things, all of us are also good at some things. It's a balanced situation, and no matter how much you might think that you aren't good at anything, that's statistically impossible. Trust me, I'm an AP Stats. Each one of you in this auditorium is awful at something, and each one of you is great at something. Never forget that. It keeps you motivated and humble. And don't let being bad at something keep you from trying it. I'm a terrible artist. I won't even bother joining an art class. It's a class. The whole point is that you learn to improve. And again, it's not a one-day thing. You need to keep in mind that if you want to get better at something, it's gonna take time, maybe more time than you expect, whether you like it or not. And even if it's at a different pace than everyone else, it doesn't mean you aren't progressing. As long as it's something you actually enjoy, the effort will be worth it. Success doesn't look the same for everyone. And don't even try to pull the "someone is better than me anyway" excuse. Look, I get that being stuck under someone's shadow can be disheartening and that we all need some validation. That's completely understandable. Is someone always gonna be better than you? Yeah, I'm not gonna deny it, but hear me out. Someone is always gonna be worse than you too. Take pride in that once in a while. It doesn't make you a bad person. Besides, I assure you that whoever you're referring to as the better one is looking to someone even farther ahead and thinking the same thing as you. My advice as a whole, go ahead and be bad at things, and don't let that keep you from doing them. Because if you keep doing what you enjoy, eventually, you'll realize you aren't that bad anymore. Until then, don't be afraid to enjoy yourself. It's a lot more fun. Thank you.